What's up, grapplers? Today I'm going to teach you how to properly hip hinge. So if you don't know, hip hinge are things like your RDLs, your deadlifts, your back extensions. And it's really important that you know how to move your hips and that you build strength in the glutes, hamstrings, and lower back. These are the muscles that we need to be strong and efficient, but also we do not want to get injuries such as hip tweaks, lower back pain. This is also going to make most of your techniques easier to pull off because most of jiu-jitsu techniques require strong hips and hamstrings. If you don't know me, my name is Bobby Collins. I'm a BJJ black belt and a BJJ strength coach. Before I get into today's video, if you're someone who wants me to take all the guesswork out of strength and condition so you can finally get strong, improve your gas tank, and be on the mat for a long time, I'll put the link to my coaching program right in the caption. So when we're doing a hip hinge, if that's with a kettlebell, a barbell, it doesn't really matter. When we're doing a hip hinge, if it's with a kettlebell, dumbbells, barbells, it doesn't matter. So the goal is to move my hip back, slightly bend in the knees, keep the back pretty flat, and I want to drive up and drive my hips up. Now, when done properly, I will mainly feel this in the hamstring, but it's okay to feel this in the lower back a little bit because we are building those muscles up as well. But the two major faults that we'll have is as we push our hips back, guys will bend down, and then this turns into a squat. So instead of working these, we tend to work the quads a little too much. Or what happens is, as we try to push the hips back, we struggle with that movement, so guys will round their back. So instead of going here, they'll start rounding like this, okay? So we wanna correct those faults. So I'm gonna give you a few cues, sometimes just a few ways to think about it differently will really help you out. So the first thing is we wanna think about soft knees and think about driving the tailbone as far back as you can. Once you feel your hips don't go back any further, you come up. So because of that, the range of motion is going to be different for everyone. It's mainly through the hip here. So again, I don't really want to bend my knees too much, and I want to stop when I can't push my hips back any further. So because what hadn't happened, if you keep pushing your hips back, you'll start bending the knees or the lower back. So if after those cues you still kind of struggle, a few drills that I think it helps guys get this, girls get this, is a kettlebell deadlift. So I stand right over the kettlebell, like so much that if I'm standing straight, I look down, I can't really see it. So if you're still struggling with that, an easy drill to do is just a kettlebell deadlift. So I'm gonna stand directly over the kettlebell, and I wanna think about chopping through the hips and get the hips back. Now, the good thing about this, you can look yourself in the mirror or the camera and see how you look. So if your back is rounded, what you're gonna focus on is sticking your butt out, sticking your chest out, while keeping your hands planted on the kettlebell. If you're bending your knees too much like this, you just gotta think about lifting the hips up. So that you can find a good position and stand, put it on the ground, reset if you need to. I feel because the kettlebell is anchored on the ground, it really helps guys get the motion of finding that proper hip hinge. Another simple drill that you can do is simply like get next to a wall, maybe like 6 inches or so. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna have weights in the hand or just go body weight and just practice sitting your hips back and let your butt touch the wall and come up, right? This forces you to get good at thinking about reaching your hips back instead of just bending over, because again, that's when we round our back, when we just think about bending over. When we think about driving the tailbone hips back, that's when we do this properly. The last drill is if you have a heavy medicine ball, this works pretty good too, is you can hold it right in front of your chest or even sometimes behind your head. And because of the weight of the upper body, this just almost forces good hip hinge movement by pushing your hips back and coming up. So either here or here. If you have any more questions on how to do a hip hinge or anything BJJ strength and condition related, you can definitely put them in and learn how to hip hinge properly so you get big, strong hamstrings and glutes to improve your performance and reduce BJJ injuries.